Alrighty, so we'll wait just a moment for everyone else to come on over. There was a question after some of you guys moved over. We are recording this breakout as well, just so you guys are aware, and this will be posted with the other one as well. Let's see here.
Matt, where are they going to be posted?
I'll have to talk to Aaron about where he's planning to post them. I imagine it'll be on the council page under the camping links.
Okay.
And we'll probably include a link to that
be.
from our Facebook as well. Sorry, go ahead, Don.
That's where that's going to be under the camping pages.
Yeah. So we have a few more that are still unassigned here. So thanks for all coming over to join us. Definitely glad to see a lot of friendly and familiar faces, and looking forward to having you guys back at camp this summer. We're going to go through a few things in terms of things that we think you guys should be aware of, as well as some things related to our kind of schedule of more information, registration, and other stuff going forward over the next few months. We're also going to leave some good time at the end because I'm sure there will be lots of questions, which we're happy to answer. If you have any kind of questions throughout, feel free to drop something in the chat and we'll try to get back to you if it's something based on what we're talking about at that moment. We did kind of introduce ourselves before. So the four of us are kind of core team for this year. Very excited to be working together and to offer you guys a great experience. So I think we wanted to start by going through some of the kind of where to find stuff, especially if we have anybody that's new to Massawepie this year, where to find stuff about registering for camp, other kind of important links that you guys may want to look for. So I'm going to start out here. Alrighty. So this year it's the main council page. Just search Seneca Waterways and it'll come right up. Most of you guys are probably familiar with it. I wanted to point you guys to the main things that you'll want to look at here. First off, just as a side note, we might talk a little bit more about staff later, especially if you guys have any questions about it. If you have anyone that is interested in applying for staff, there's a link. You actually go to Camp Resources because the link is from kind of general for all of the camp staffs. And then it's right down here under 2022 seasonal camp staff employment. You can fill out an online application there. And it'll come right through to us through our system. So if you have any scouts that are interested, feel free to take a look there. If you don't remember or are looking for it, feel free to send us an email and we can send you a link on from there. Anything to do with registration for camp, payment, or anything else like that, including registering for merit badges, is going to be under Massawepie Scout Camps here. Then Camp Pioneer at, or actually 2022 Massawepie Scout Camps, Pioneer. If you're looking at any like family camping stuff, that'll be from these links up here. So this takes you to kind of your side, the user side of our online portal where you get to do all of the fun online registration stuff. It looks a little bit different because the service we use has changed a little bit of their formatting this year. Just something to be aware of. I suggest making an account. You don't need to make an account in order to register, but it'll make your life a lot easier later on when you're doing merit badge registration and other stuff like that. I'll be working on a video next weekend to send out to all of you guys that has information about registering for merit badges, all the kind of weird kinks about figuring out how this system works. So look out for that. It'll walk through parent portal, which is accessible up here, and other things you guys will want to do while you finalize stuff for your scouts this summer. And then right from here, and yeah, these are some of the kind of weird formatting things that have changed. From here, you can go through and see kind of which sites and like what's available, what weeks have space available, and go from there. And then the most important thing for you guys to look at, all the way at the bottom of this, it has all of our links to all of the documents we release, things like the medical forms, food accommodations, all that kind of stuff. directions, and then most recently we have the leaders guide and the program guide, which have been posted for information about what camp's going to look like this summer. It's the first place you want to look if you don't remember anything about when due dates for payments are, when we're doing merit badge registration, or if you kind of have a niche question about what's going on at camp. A lot of times the answers are in there. Of course, you can also always send us an email, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Sorry about that. So we're going to go through a little bit of the leaders guide and program guide to highlight some kind of key points and some dates and stuff that we have going on right now. Sorry, one moment. All right, so MB and Don, do you guys want to start with the leaders guide to go through kind of what we want to go through there?
Mm-hmm.
All righty. So there's a lot of kind of general information in there. There's contact information for all of us, which is very important. Got information to reach all of us from there. Most of them phone and email if you have any questions. And then going right down the list here, this is our table of contents. You can look kind of where you should be finding things in there. This is our registration dates, so you kind of know what different sessions are looking like. One thing that people should be aware of, especially if you haven't registered for camp yet, at this point, our session 2 and session 3 are full for this summer, and session 4 is starting to get close there. So you definitely want to get in there and start filling out and registering if you haven't gotten to it yet. There's still plenty of space in our 1st, 5th, and 6th sessions. One thing to be aware of, if you haven't accounted for crossover scouts or anything like that in your registration, we will be accommodating for that after crossovers. So we make sure that you guys can get everybody in there, even though it may go a little bit over the original capacity set. That's one of the reasons we set it a little bit lower. Going right on here, this is our payment schedule. Very important things to be aware of. Being aware of the payment schedule and being proactive with it is going to save your scouts kind of money in the long run there. So the first off, the deposit is going to be due next month, February 18th. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, I'll be going through kind of how to make all those payments in the video I'll release next week. So you can go right from there to look at all that info. And that'll be sent out through our email serve and also through the list that this went out to. Then the early bird fee is due on the exactly 1 month later from that, on March 18th. So that's kind of the fee schedule there. As you guys know, the late fee, which is assigned later, isn't until May, so you have a lot of time that you don't have to go into that. And then you'll see the fee schedule is a little bit different here for new scouts in spring. We understand crossovers aren't crossed over yet before we go through all of that. So that has a separate fee schedule, and we're a lot more kind of flexible with all that. Adult participant, the cost is $200 for an adult. Those payments aren't due until much later in the game because you guys don't have to worry about anything like merit badge registration. And we understand that adults are kind of more, there's more they have to figure out in terms of, their availability with work and all that kind of stuff. Each unit does get 1 free adult, I believe, for every 8 participants. So that's something you can factor in too, in terms of how your unit is going to be covering that overall bill. Okay, that's actually, we may be uploading kind of different versions later on. We may let you guys know there's a new version of the leaders guide up if we have to change something. So the CIT due date is pretty much up until the session starts for costs there. And the cost will be $75 for this summer. Okay. It's more there's different kind of policy information and all that kind of stuff that you guys can find through here. I definitely suggest going through and giving this a skim after the meeting because we would really bore you if we went through every aspect of the guide here. So, alrighty, campsite reservations. So Aaron talked a little bit about our refund policy earlier. Kind of depending on the circumstances, refunds can be given out even after the deposit date, but that depends on kind of why there was an issue. So that's kind of handled as on a situational basis. And that policy is kind of walked through here. Camper ships, I highly encourage people to look for camper ships. Can save you about up to half of the cost of camp. I think definitely people should take advantage of it if you have need. One thing to be aware of, and I meant to go through it earlier when we were on the council page, that is under the general council links there, general camping links. I'll actually go back there one moment so you guys can see. Camper ships, if you would like to apply, are right under, let's see here, camp resources, same tab that the applications are under. And you go right down to 2022 camper ship application. And that is for our camp or Cutler, or even for one of the specialty camps if you're interested in NYLT or in Eagle Flight, just something to be aware of. Okay, go right on back. Alrighty. Medical forms, if you guys have any questions about that, we are happy to respond. Sorry, kind of looking through the chat here quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, I believe that that is right about the. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Food service. If you guys have a food-related need, special food needs, please send that through the form that is listed on the site there. We are very accommodating with food needs, but we have to know about them ahead of time, so you make sure that, especially if it's a more unique food need, that we have the what you guys would need available for us in the kitchen. Patrol cooking. Do you have any notes on patrol cooking, Mary Beth, you'd like to share?
We are looking at some different things for this year. If you do want to patrol cook, it's great to know ahead of time so we can get you set up, have all the supplies there for Sunday. There are different options with patrol cooking. Some troops, might want to do all 3 meals. I know some are pretty busy. I understand that the scouts are trying to get, from A to B during the day. So I know in the past, some will do just lunch and dinner. And so definitely a good opportunity to work on some cooking skills while you're at camp. Having a really solid eye on the patrol cooking last year, I am working on some different things to even improve it for this year.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Mary Beth. Troop leadership, this is very important. I know that Aaron touched on it. All the leaders in Camp Leader Scouts do have to be registered scout leaders. And as a quick kind of correction here, as of our kind of change in YPT policy, you need at least 2 that are 21 or older. One 21-year-old and one 18-year-old are not enough to qualify for the leadership in camp. Okay. So on merit badges, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in the program section. There's a lot you can do kind of in advance to prep for, registering your scouts for merit badges. And about mid-February, I will be releasing the merit badge schedule as well as the prerequisite guide. I definitely advise that you guys maybe even print those out and share them at your scout meeting so that scouts can really look at it. And at the very least, share with the parents in your troops so that they can kind of look over and see what the options are and what they'd like to do. Going along with that, our registration day for merit badges will be earlier this year. It will be March 30th. That's when we're going to open it up. Going to be very, very similar how that all works as it has been in the past. Like I said, I'll be going through all that with some fake, like a fake registration account to show you guys what that looks like. And I suggest sharing that with parents too, if you're going to be using the parent portal to do merit badge registration. Okay. Yeah. And to register for merit badges, you will not have to be paid in full, but you will need to have your $100 deposit in with the kind of beginning of the schedule. All right. So you talked OA before, Peter. Did you have any last notes on it? Just came across it in the.
Nothing, I guess nothing else that I haven't already said. Just, wear your lodge gear. OA Thursday is going to be there. And if you haven't done an OA election and you're in Seneca Waterways Council, we will definitely be asking you if you want to do an election up in Massawepie. So if you want to do that, you can contact me beforehand, or we'll come and talk to you and we can be prepared to do it there.
And actually a follow-up question from me, Peter. For out of council troops, are they able to do brotherhood ceremonies with us, or do they have to be in council?
Unfortunately, out of council troops cannot do brotherhood ceremonies up at camp with us. It is something that we'd have to coordinate with the other councils with lots of paperwork and approvals that feasibly isn't able to happen up there. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Alrighty. So this is kind of general kind of camp policy information. I suggest looking through this before you arrive at camp. Not really a focus for our meeting today. Some kind of scheduling stuff. Let's see here. All right, so check-in, something to be aware of. So generally check-in is between 1 and 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon for your session. During check-in, we'll do all of the medical check-in. We'll be doing swim checks, and we'll have site guides that guide you around camp, do an inventory in your site, and that you get to kind of talk to about any questions that you have when you arrive at camp. So that's our general check-in procedure. Going to be running very much the same way this year as it has been in the past. No real changes. For swim checks, there is the ability to do swim checks ahead of camp, but only for folks that are not taking aquatics merit badges. If you have anyone taking aquatics merit badges, they have to test in camp regardless. We do have an option for units to arrive early on Saturday if they need to. The cost for that is $100 for the unit in total. And likewise, the time frame for check-in is between 1 and 4 p.m. All righty. One note with the med forms and the kind of check-in process, it is important to know that and to notify your scouts early, especially because I know that it can be difficult to get doctor's appointments with COVID right now, is that for the Part C, they must have a physical within the last 12 months. So that's something you definitely want to talk to your scouts about and your parents about to make sure that they are all squared away with that. All righty. And drop. Again, this kind of general information about how camp is run, some specific areas of camp. I suggest looking through some of this with your unit before arriving at camp. Yes, now. Alrighty. And this is the food accommodation request form that we were talking about earlier. You can take that right out of the guide to print out if you have any scouts that need food accommodation. And a general checklist for your help if you need anything to kind of check on your progress, making sure you're ready to camp. I know it can be kind of stressful for unit leaders. Alrighty. So I think that just about draws us to the close on the leader's guide. Before we move on to talking a little bit about program, do people have any questions? Or Don, Mary Beth, do you guys feel like I missed anything?
No, I've been trying to keep up with the chat and answer most of the questions in the chat room, and we'll continue to do that. But you did a good job.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I just saw a question in there. I will, at the end of the meeting, drop a link to the campership request in there So feel free to take a look for that. Question about COVID policies. It is likely that we're going to be following a lot of the same procedures that we were last year in terms of COVID. Like last year, there is going to be some uncertainty because the specific policies that the health department gives us kind of comes later on in the game. And that's what Don's going to be pulling his hair out about over the next few months, I'm sure. So yeah, we're likely to have a lot of the same policies, but the specifics there, if there are any small changes, we'll be looking at further down the line.
Could you
Yeah,
just
so normally-
say what those are for those of us who weren't there last year?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good note.
Just really briefly, you know.
Yeah, so just generally speaking, we do have some mask wearing procedures specifically around the dining hall or any other kind of concentrated indoor space where there's going to be a lot of people. There is, we were doing cafeteria style, so versus family style. So that's how we serve food for kind of increased safety there. And then there's some temp checks and screening processes people enter. Besides that, we were able to run very much similar to normal last year. And I don't know if anything else comes to mind from Mary Beth, Don, if there was anything else major that we had for a COVID related policy.
Masking was the big one I was thinking of. In the indoor buildings, we do require.
And
How do you handle tenting? Tents?
so,
Tents
sorry,
are
go ahead.
shared. Tents are shared, you know, in a troop. So you will not be sharing a tent with anyone you have not come with. So, and I'm blanking on the word, Matt, in terms of like pods kind of thing. So you are not leaving the pod of who you came up with in your troop. You might be sharing a site with someone else, depending on the size. But again, you will have your own tents for your troops. There was a question a while back about uniform. There's a lot of questions in the chat, so trying to keep with them all. So as far as CIT, the first week they are quote unquote, and maybe Peter can talk better to this. And so, you know, during the day, there'll be more street clothes, you know, required uniform, so for flags, etc. It's then the weeks 2 and 3 is when they do wear the uniform of the staff. They become more part of the staff. And then Matt, I believe listed online is the staff uniform somewhere. Maybe you can speak better to where to look for that. But also as far as, you know, interviewing with us and then getting a contract and all of that, the staff or the CIT will receive more information about that as well.
Yeah, generally speaking, we have a specific uniform, venturing uniform, and then we have the uniforms that we give out for t-shirts and stuff throughout the day. And yeah, when folks apply, we send that information out to them, you know, for them to order from. Generally, part of the uniform is provided by us, and some of it requires purchase for the different items. We also have incidentals for that from our order form. But yeah, so CITs, they'll have largely the same uniform that the staff do, and we'll get actually a few extra items with their kind of a few extra items for free with the CIT program.
Matt, I need to jump in and answer some of these questions before you get too far.
Mhm.
And the one specifically, are you gonna do open program in a little bit?
Yes, I am going to talk about open program in the program
Right,
guide. I have
so-
some notes on that.
So I'm gonna save that one. Bernie said something about the 2 scouts per tent. They do need to sleep head to toe for DOH, and I won't know what the DOH regulations are. They don't even want to talk to me right now until sometime in the spring. But as we said, we're hoping that they're going to be similar to last year, which is masking indoors, sleeping head to toe. But the rest of it was pretty simple. So hopefully I will know that soon. And I'll save the open program stuff to when you do open program.
I believe there's also a question about the cost per for adults not staying the entire session, like if they're splitting.
Half week is half the 200, which is 100.
Yeah, and I
Exactly.
think we have a daily, like it's 40 per day. And you can
Still 40?
do in the registration how many days you're going if you're going for the partial week.
Okay.
Yeah, daily for adults is not in the pricing.
So is it not in the leader's guide, or is it not available when you check online?
I haven't gotten that far yet, but no, it's not in the leader's guide.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's a note for us. We can update that. But if you click partial week adult, when you register online, it should say how many days you're staying and allocate. I believe last year was like $41 per day or $42 per day for that, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have a question about kind of exposure and if we have an issue at camp. Luckily, we didn't have any issues last year. We were, very fortunate, which I think kind of speaks to our policies with it working. If we have a camper with a confirmed case of COVID, then we would have to call the health department and kind of see what their instruction for us is, which would likely consist of, isolating, whether they go home immediately or we kind of isolate them in camp. Those are all things that kind of depend what the health department tells us in that case. I don't know if you have any information on that either, Don.
No, you said it pretty good. I mean, I know we do have, or last summer we had a supply of test kits, and we will have a supply of test kits there again this summer. Again, some of that stuff's going to be worked out this spring when the DOH tells me what the DOH will tell me.
Great, awesome. Are there any last policy related questions before we move on to program stuff? Cool. All right, awesome. So we'll switch right over here. Wait one moment. Just gotta pull the program guide back up quick. Alrighty, here we go. Sorry about the dead air, guys. Alrighty. So this is our program guide, also available in the same place. Like the leader's guide, this may kind of come down and then go back up if you have any small changes or updates that we need to make to it. And generally, if there's anything that you guys really need to know when we do that, we'll be sending out an email to you to let you know to check it again. Sometimes we'll even send it out in a document and an email if there's something we really want you guys to look at. So again, we have contact information in here and kind of general introductory. And we will probably be taking this one down after tonight to add a few extra contacts in there. So just so you guys are aware. Alrighty. So I'm going to go through the different program areas a little bit and of course talk about open program. So for those of you guys that were with us last year, you know that we had to make some changes to our open program schedule. And kind of how that all worked this year, this past summer. So again, this summer, we are going to have to essentially have some form of sign-up system prior to open program so that we're able to track where your scouts are in camp and kind of check in to make sure that they are where they're supposed to be. We are working a little bit between me and Mary Beth and with our program committee to figure out kind of what the best way to do that is. There's definitely some growing pains figuring that out this year. There's ways that it worked really well, and there's definitely some things we want to improve on. So we're going to try and make that as much more user-friendly for you guys as possible going forward. If you guys have any questions about that, feel free to kind of ask. We're going to have an open kind of Q&A at the end, but you can also, of course, type in chat. Throughout the guide, there's kind of a specific events mentioned and specific badges. A lot of those are staples we have every year. So you can expect most of those open up program events to be here every year. And also one of the things I really like about our program is that depending who we bring in for different program areas and who's running the show, we like to give them some room to, run programs that they really want to do and kind of build on ideas. because I find that when the staff are passionate about what they're doing, it helps the scouts be passionate and have a good time. So, you know, every year we'll have a few new events. That's always fun to look out for, but we don't know that until we start working with our staff to form the program that year.
Just to cut in really fast,
Mhm.
we are so excited, as Matt said earlier, it is our 70th anniversary this year. So we have been talking a little bit about doing some extra things for that, having a little scavenger hunt related to that and other. So just to mention, thanks, Matt.
And hopefully some cool 70th anniversary merch as well.
Of course, definitely some cool swag in the training post.
Yep. Alrighty. So there's a little bit in here about merit badge schedule. All that should be the same this year. Some classes may change in terms of how they're scheduled. We're still putting together kind of the best schedule to make sure that everything's balanced out for this year. But for instance, based on feedback last year, we may be moving some, for instance, hour-and-a-half classes to 45-minute classes, moving things around like that, or vice versa. So things might look a little bit different on that front. So I was right, just past that. Trainings and awards. We are planning to offer water rescue and paddlecraft safety again this year. And we are looking at some options for offering IOLS training for adults. That's still kind of in the works. So we'll keep people posted about that as we go. But that would probably be on a open program basis. Okay. So merit badges are looking largely the same this year. Each of our areas is keeping the merit badges that they've had in the past. And we haven't kind of settled on any additions for this year yet. So likely it's going to be the same set of merit badges that we've had in the past. Like I said, open programs are always subject to change. Let's see here. Cope and climbing. It's been a few years since we've been able to consistently open the natural rock face. Luckily this year with our staffing situation for cope and climbing, I'm excited that I think we will definitely be able to do natural rock face this year for anyone that's interested. So that'll be kind of an exciting thing for you guys. Okay.
Sorry, is that like an open program thing where you'd sign up as a troop or have open hours?
Yeah, so and I'm sorry, because maybe I haven't been clear enough for maybe folks that are new to Massawepie this year. So our open program schedule, we have 2 open programs every day, and we offer a specific program each day. So each area will have a schedule at the beginning of the week. We call it our supplementary schedule to say we're doing this event this day, this event this day. And then most of them will also have, especially our larger areas like handicraft, econ, scoutcraft. They'll also have kind of open activities where like you can go to scoutcraft any day and probably do a do something with a Dutch oven if you'd like to, or do tomahawk throwing that day if you'd like to. Get help with your merit badges if you're struggling. So for like climbing, for example, yeah, that would be something that you can send scouts down, and the scouts sign up kind of on an individual basis that they're planning to go there. And that would be the day that we offer natural rock face, or even if we offered it 2 times. And we may play around with it in merit badge classes as well, depending on the comfort of our staff. Alrighty. All right. So Trailblazers. So we've had a lot of talks about Trailblazers kind of internally, and we're working on kind of trying to put forth our best program for Trailblazers this coming year. So some of you guys may have seen a survey that came out to you guys, kind of your thoughts on the Trailblazers program, especially if you guys have been involved in it in the past, because we want to see kind of the areas that you think you really want to prioritize for the tenderfoot through first class requirements. We may kind of move around a little bit how we do the scheduling with that. But we really want to hear your feedback, and maybe even talk to some of you guys a little bit more about your thoughts based on your survey responses. So definitely take a chance to fill out that survey. And I saw you typing, Mary Beth. Did you get in chat?
What? Oh, yes, I will. For Trailblazers, I will send that right now.
Right,
yeah,
excellent.
To change that up a little bit.
So yeah, we're hoping to really bring our best foot forward there, and are looking forward to hearing your responses and what you guys want us to work on. Excuse me. So for that reason, the specific requirements aren't in the program guide yet. After we kind of get our thoughts together on that and talk to some folks, we're going to be updating that, and we'll let you guys know to send when we send out a new program guide.
Yeah, so going off that, just to, sorry, interrupt really fast.
Yeah, go right up.
And we tried to make it very short and simple, so it won't take up too much of your time. But as you know, we're hoping to get a go on that. Would love to, if you have feedback for us, have you complete that within the next week or so. And I will send that in just a second.
Excellent. And yeah, filling it out soon is definitely a big thing for us, because we do want to reach out to some folks to get further feedback. So, you know, hearing from you guys sooner rather than later would be ideal. Thank you to all the folks that filled it out already. I think we had like 20 people fill it out the first day, so that's absolutely awesome. All righty. Another thing to go along with Trailblazers is that we'll probably continue this year having some open program activities that focus in a skill area, especially if it's a skill area that maybe is best assisted by another program area. So likely we'll keep the aquatics day as an open program activity to work on aquatics requirements down at the waterfront. And that's kind of subject to change depending on what we decide to include in the scheduled class. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. We'll have more information about that as we go. All righty. So most of the big items, there's nowhere else where we have some major changes, with the exception that I'd like to announce we will be bringing back the 5-mile hike as our first year bark eater requirement this year. We had kind of experimented with that a little bit, but the bark eater, that will be the bark eater requirement again. And it will be offered with an open program section. And our esteemed assistant camp director, Mary Beth, is planning to lead that one herself. So it'll be a can't miss experience.
Of course, come join me 2 days a week.
Yeah. We'll likely have another kind of alternative requirement for that, as we usually do, but that's still kind of being settled on for this upcoming year. Besides that, bark eater will look largely the same this year. For those of you guys that are, again, new to camp this year, bark eater is our camper kind of rewards program for folks that come back to camp for kind of year after year. So each year we have a kind of set of experience, lore, and service requirements to earn your bark eater token and participate in a ceremony where you earn that token. And that goes from year 1 up to 5. Program we're very proud of. And yeah, Mary Beth and I go back and forth about it a lot because we're both former bark eater directors. So we're very passionate about it.
Yes, and actually, so just to hit on that for a hot second, one thing that I always love about the program is, for again, anyone who's new to camp, there's a lot of history at the camp. There used to be a hotel there way back when. And so it's a really cool experience to learn history of the area, of the camp, and really of the Adirondacks in general. So highly recommend it. So the ceremonies are offered on, well, Thursday evening for your 5th year. It's a little different, but otherwise Friday for everyone else, years 1 through 4. So unfortunately, the ceremonies are only once a week. Hopefully you are able to participate in them. If you are not, though, you can certainly talk to our bark eater director, and they can sort of set you up, let you know what you're missing, and make sure you still get your Massawepie bark eater little token.
It is definitely something, because I've often seen scouts that decide to leave camp the night before. It's something to be aware of if that's something you're weighing. Obviously, if that's something you have to do, then you have to do it, but it's definitely something that you don't want to miss during your camp experience. So.
And to just answer another question I see in the chat. So second year bark eater, it's the requirement is not the hike. However, because the hike is going to be offered during an open program time, and it's actually going to be offered twice a week. So definitely opportunity. Definitely would love to have those scouts that didn't get to do it last year come and do it this year.
Yeah, the second year requirements will be the same as last year, I believe, which are the dam hike and the loom canoe option, depending on kind of which you're feeling. Any other bark eater related questions? All righty. So Mountain Fox, I know Don and our video from our Trek director touched on it before. Really great opportunity if you're maybe not fully ready for a Trek experience, but you'd like to have more high adventure activities. One of the biggest things we added last year, which people really enjoyed, was taking a mountain bike out to Mount Arab, which is about 6 miles down the road through our old, it's called the Carriage Road, where we used to carry lumber out of there during, that's some Barkeeter lore for you guys. It used to be the Sykes Logging Company. And then we go out to Mount Arab, they would climb Mount Arab, and then they would bike back. So that was a good, like, most of the day experience that folks got really tired out on, but apparently also had a really fun time with. So there's a lot of different opportunities there, and there is flexibility for the scouts depending on what they want to do, kind of set up their own experience with the folks from Treks. So
it's really a great experience for those older kids that have come to camp or have already earned a lot of the merit badges, but still want to participate and enjoy coming with the troop. So it's really nice because they'll be with other kids in the same boat, maybe a little older. And what's great is that they'll work with the Voyager guide they have that week, or the Mountain Fox person too, and to really make their own schedule for the week. So if they do want to go out and, try a high peak or just go climbing somewhere, they can schedule to do that for one of the days. If they like canoeing, they can also do that. If there's things they want to do around camp and explore the property, they can do that. If they want to be back in time for an open program in the evening, again, that's something that they can tailor the program to them each week. So it's a nice, again, option for those older kids who still want to come and be a part of camp, but again, they're maybe, done building their rockets and making their baskets.
right.
Is that a one-day event? If you're talking about Mountain Fox, it's a week program. And so it's something you would sign up for ahead of time. And so on Monday, when the kids get together, they would then sort of plan their week. If you're talking specifically about what Matt just mentioned with Mount Arab, that was one of the days. That was something that Mountain Fox did do each week.
Yeah, and another note with Mountain Fox, it is a 14+ program, and it is designed to be a full week experience. So if you're doing Mountain Fox, you're not going to take any scheduled merit badges. You will probably be able to participate in some evening open programs based on when you get back. But it's really a kind of instead of the merit badge experience, especially for folks that have been to camp for a few years and maybe have gotten all the merit badges that they're really looking to do.
Matt, I'm not sure about this question, or maybe even Don.
I got it. So the one adult required per troop. So what will happen on Monday when the scouts go to the Trek Lodge? At that point, we'll figure out what they're going to do, and then we'll decide, or we'll share adults from each individual troop represented and make sure that we have the 2 deep leadership in order to do the things that they want to do.
All right, awesome. Any other Mountain Fox related questions? All righty. So kind of similar, at least on the kind of getting out, seeing more of the property, more of the Adirondacks conversation. We have a lot of options for outposting on our property. Mary Beth probably remembers better than me, but we have 21, 22 outposts on the property. Yeah,
It's in the
something
20s,
in
low
that
20s,
range.
maybe 24 even. Mhm.
Yeah, there's disagreement about Mount Arab and whether that's an outpost and stuff like that, but anyhow.
I have a staff t-shirt with them listed somewhere.
I do too. Anyways, but yeah, so a lot of great opportunities. See some of the different ponds. There's a bunch of outposts around our Massawepie Lake. We have 2 Adirondack lean-tos that you can go to stay with your troop. And this is something that you can kind of plan with your troop as long as you let us know about. You do talk to the Trek Lodge about it for that chance to go out and see that kind of outpost and stay there for a night. Definitely suggest taking the opportunity to have that experience. Our Trek staff can assist you with some things related to trail food. If you're going to be planning to do like Mountain House when you're out there for the day, and they can assist you with things like cooking stoves and other stuff like that. If you are planning to outpost, you should bring tents for your troop. because we have some shelter related stuff, but we don't have enough to outfit a whole troop, especially if the more than one troop is going out in a night. But definitely suggest people taking a chance to have that opportunity. And it's the type of thing that you can, it's something you can take a chance to go do, and you can do other kind of Adirondack experiences like that with kind of some support from the Trek Lodge before or after your stay at camp if you're doing a resident camp. Alrighty, so this comes towards the end of the presentation here. We have stuff on staff and the CIT program. We gave kind of the elevator pitch earlier, and obviously I'm biased because we're looking to get some folks in from your scouts to be our staff, but I first started staff at 17. It was my first kind of real job to say so, and I've been working for camp for, like I said, 7 years now. I think Mary Beth had a fairly similar experience, and it can't stress enough that it's a really good kind of constructive opportunity for your scouts to take. And if you guys have some free time, then we are always looking for adults in certain positions as well. And we're available if you guys have any questions about that via email or call to answer questions about it, talk to parents or scouts about kind of what it looks like. And the link to the application is in here as well. So if you open it online, you can open this document online. You should be able to click there, and it'll take you right to our seasonal staff application. Sorry about that. And Peter, you talked about CIT earlier. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on there?
We are building a really great team already of CITs, and we really hope that a lot of your 14 or 15-year-old scouts will come and join that family too. It's a really great time. They're going to have a lot of fun. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them now or any other time. I put my email in the chat when we were in the general thing. I can put my email in the breakout chat here again if you want to talk to me about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So.
And we will be re-uploading this document with Peter Huber's contact info. If you'd like to reach out to him, and don't take it down after this chat. Yeah, great opportunity. If you have a CIT, they don't have to fill out the seasonal staff application. They can, but it's a little bit more streamlined if you guys reach out to us directly, either myself or Peter, and then go straight from there. And I actually was never a CIT. Were you a CIT, Peter?
I was in 2014.
Gotcha.
So that's how long I've been in this gig. I've been staffing a couple of years, volunteering as well, and now I'm coming back on as full staff. It's a lot of fun. I loved it.
And Peter, I remember when you were a CIT because
Yes, you were assistant program director, I think.
I think
I
was that year.
You've been staffing as long as.
And barkeeter director.
That's right.
So it's definitely a good program. Oh, Peter, yes, 1969.
Yeah, here comes Peter College.
Alrighty.
And Peter College is still coming back. So if that is not a great show of how well the CIT program worked, then I don't know what else would be. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, and Peter, that was the first ever session of MSc CITs, right? Oh, I'm sure he'll send a follow-up in the chat.
Yes, it was the first session of the modern CIT program.
Yeah, so lots of veterans of the CIT program here, definitely suggesting that you guys give it a try. And if you really enjoy it and you come for the first session, you can stick around for more of the summer too. So, alrighty. So last few kind of basic notes. We talked about treks a little bit already. Feel free to reach out to Don or directly to Ian for information about treks. If you'd like to take a contingent on something like that, definitely suggest it. Family camping. So parents can go to stay at family camping on the far side of the lake if they'd like to. To be staying in our resident camp, you have to be a kind of adult leader registered with the Scouts. But if, for instance, you're planning to pick up your child and go do something else in the Adirondacks that weekend, you can come early and stay at our family camping, or just do that at any other time throughout the summer if you'd like to. And as I think Don said earlier, there are opportunities there either during the summer over at Mountaineer, on the far side of the lake, or in Pioneer during the end of the summer after we've shut down for the season. That tends to fill up pretty quick. So if it's something you're interested in, I would suggest giving Leanne a call or looking online to see about availability there. Alrighty. Outdoor challenge. We do that every fall. If you guys are coming to Massawepie, we'll give you a longer pitch about that during probably a leaders meeting at some point, as well as our Arctic challenge. Just great opportunities to come see camp in the off season, engage in some challenges, have a good time, and usually see some of the staff that you don't get to see the rest of the year. And we like to see you guys throughout the year, so that's always a fun time.
Yeah, so it was just this past weekend with Martin Luther King, and was waking up to negative 20 degrees. So we definitely have to come up and experience that.
And that draws our program guide to the end here. So we're going to open up for questions in just a minute. And I do just have the thought, Leanne, our lovely camping assistant at the council, is here with us today. And I neglected to introduce you earlier. Do you have any notes on kind of if people have issues with the registration or need to engage with you or anything else like that over the next few months?
Technology can be frustrating at times, so if you are becoming a little overwhelmed, please feel free to give me a buzz at the office. Actually, what I'll do is put my direct line, so to speak, in the chat, so you can bypass the desk and front desk and just, you know, if I'm busy with someone else or not able to answer my phone, please leave a message, a return phone number I can call you back at, or an email, and I would be very happy to assist you to the best of my ability and whatever mood Black Pug is in that day. But, you know, be very happy to help you with any registration, etc.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Make sure to be very appreciative, because she does a lot for all of our camping operations. So might take a minute to get back to you, but she's doing a lot to make sure that everything runs smoothly. All right, there's a few more questions in the chat here. One other thought. So in regards to cycling, we will not be offering cycling as a scheduled merit badge this year. For a variety of reasons, the largest of which is that I think for the overall summer, we had about 5 folks sign up for it last year, which makes running a class for it and supervision for it very difficult. So we've been talking about some kind of other, I've had some talks with other folks at the council about kind of other cycling related camping opportunities. Of course, the bikes will still be available, and it's something you could work towards with some support from our staff, but we won't be doing it as a scheduled class. Alrighty. So now I think we're going to kind of open up for questions. If you have anything you'd like to direct at us, things that popped out to you as we went through the rest of the presentation, or things you're kind of wondering about.
We're really excited about.
That too. And you guys can feel free to type in chat or kind of raise a hand. If nobody's talking, you can feel free to just unmute and shout out to us if you'd like.
Hey, Matt, I'd like to.
Go, John.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry, John, if you'd like to go first, then we can jump right over to Mark.
So Matt and Mary Beth both mentioned it earlier. You guys talked about the survey that you're doing for the Trailblazers. I really highly recommend to all the leaders that if you have scouts that are going to go to Trailblazers, please fill out that survey. Please, you know, contact Mary Beth and Matt with your ideas, and because they really are looking for it to be the best program possible for the scouts. And as a volunteer, I very much appreciate that they're looking out for that for us. The other thing that I don't know if they mentioned, but there'll probably be a survey coming out at some point asking for help while you're there for your sessions. So we really could use help from volunteers, whether it's, you know, just another set of eyes on one of the ranges or at one of the areas, or if you know a merit badge there will be a survey coming out for that. So please fill that out so we know when you're going and if you're willing to help, because it really does make the scout experience so much better at camp. It's a great camp, but if we have a lot of helpers, it really makes it that much better.
Yeah, thank you very much for that note, John. And yeah, John is one of the members of our program committee and has been providing a lot of kind of input and help with us over the past year and a half or so. So definitely appreciate you bringing those up. And for everyone in the call, actually, that's helped out at camp in the past. We had a lot of helpers last year. So
It's a lot of familiar faces. And so it takes all of us together. Thank you very much. Mark, did you have something?
Well, and it turns out I'm just going to echo what John said. Is that survey coming out for merit badges? If and as and when it does, sign me up for pioneering again. That was a great time I did last year. But coming up, we have to be prepared. So if you want our help, please ask for it ahead of time, not on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we're definitely working on kind of improving that whole system this year. We're planning to actually send the survey out closer to the start of camp because we didn't get a lot of responses last year. And I think part of it was had to do with folks like kind of thinking, oh, I can get back to that later. And then, you know, everything falls into the cracks. So we're going to be sending a little bit earlier, but then also notifying, especially folks we know have helped us in the past to help us out again this year beforehand. And then if anyone else wants to raise a hand in chat, I did see a note on the side here. So during open program, our area is able to help assist scouts finishing merit badges they're not enrolled in at that camp. So yes, we have a variety of ways that we offer kind of assistance with merit badges, and we offer merit badges during open program on a scheduled and a by appointment basis. So when the merit badge schedule goes out, and I believe most of these are in the program guide as well under each program area. It'll list not just these are all the scheduled classes, but these are classes that we are kind of certified to teach by appointment. So by appointment means either, hey, I have a partial in this. I'd like to come in and see if I can finish it up. Maybe I did everything except like finish my 100-yard swim last summer at camp, and I want to finish it up. So we can handle all those types of issues. And with some classes, we're actually able to, you know, have a scout come in once or twice throughout the week during open program, give them information about a merit badge and have them do stuff throughout the week, and they can do the whole thing there during that time. One thing we ask for any by appointment classes or even like makeups for that kind of stuff is that we talk to either the scout, a parent, or the unit leader at the start of the week, because then we can kind of schedule with them when's the best time for them to come in. Because there's some days we're very busy during open program, some days we're less busy during open program, and areas kind of have a sense of that based on their experience throughout the summer. So
can I jump in there, Matt, and just add a tidbit of if a scout or anyone has like started a merit badge a previous year and got a partial and wanted to finish it, if to have them bring their blue card with them so like if we find a time during that week for them to make an appointment with the area, they can bring that blue card with them so the area director can have something to sign so we can make sure that merit badge is all completed for them.
yeah, it's a very good note, Peter. And if they don't have a blue card because they did it during the summer camp and they didn't finish, if it was at Massawepie, then like we can look that up to look at the records. But it's best if you reach out to us about that beforehand. And if it was at Hovey, then it would probably be best to reach out extra early because like I don't have access to old Hovey records. I believe Leanne probably does. But that's information we could look through to find. We would just need a little bit more time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Any other kind of questions people have?
Yeah, I've got one question for you. As somebody brand new into this in our troop leadership, can you just confirm for me what my priorities are right now? It sounds like just registration.
Yeah, so the first thing you want to do, and actually, so before registration, I would make sure to have kind of the conversation with your scouts and your parents so you can get a good estimate of how many folks are coming. If you've done that already, then the next thing you want to do is go into the online system, put in the numbers you're expecting, both for youth and adults. Youth are more important now. Adults become more important later down the line. And then from there, there'll be different ways to kind of put information about the scouts in there. So you're going to need kind of basic information about their names, some contact information, that kind of stuff. Definitely look out in your email. I'm planning to, at the start of next week, send out a video that goes through everything that everyone needs to know about scouting event. And that'll run through like, what do you need to do now, right up until what do you need to do for merit badge registration. So that'll be a really important piece of information for you. And then I would start talking to your scouts about if they're committed and want to come to camp, the deposit for that, because that's just under a month away. So putting in the $100 deposit is important and gets them ready to sign up for classes. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other folks have questions related to that? Because those are the types of things that maybe aren't the first thing on the mind like now, but they can become very difficult down the road.
So Matt, when is the parent portal going to be open?
So parent portal, that's not labeled in the guide. My thinking is we'll open parent portal at the same point that so I'm trying to think because it's been a year. So I don't believe that we open parent portal. So I think parent portal works the way it works, and I'll go through all this in the video, is that once you've put the scouts' names in, you can enable parent portal for your registration. So when you guys enable parent portal, it'll create a registration number for each of the scouts that the parents can then sign in with.
Right. You have to open the system though. Last year, it was late. And so I wanted parents to just pay, and it took, like, the date got really close before it got closer than I was comfortable with, because I didn't want a scout to miss early bird, but the parent portal wasn't open, and we're a brand new troop and we cannot pay for their registration.
Right. As a general kind of poll here, do folks generally use parent portal to pay even the deposit?
I would love to.
For scout? Okay.
No.
But probably not.
Okay. So I'll go in and make sure that parent portal, because I think it's like an overall enabling thing, and then the leader has to enable it for their registration. So I'll make sure parent portal can be enabled now. All that needs to happen is before a parent can use the parent portal, you need to put in the scouts information so that they have a unique number that you can reach out through. And if you guys have any more, I know that got a little bit confusing. If you guys have any other questions about that, feel free to reach out so we can clarify, and make sure to watch that one video. And then I see, John, did you have another question?
I actually have a comment for you. When you were going through the registration page, for some reason in Chrome, it looks really bad, but if you have Microsoft Edge, it's still formatted the correct way. So I don't know why their website's not coming up correctly, but we should probably have somebody at council reach out to them and let them know that there's something wrong with the page.
Gotcha. I appreciate that note, John, because I've only checked that kind of route in Chrome so far after they did the reformat, and I was also wondering about that. So yeah, definitely be aware of browsers when you're using that system.
Yeah, it looks fine. It looks the same way as it used to in Chrome, or sorry, in Edge. So if you use Edge, you can still actually read the page.
Gotcha.
Thank you for the messages too for people adding. So good to know things for Firefox, etc. Dave, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for everything, all the information today. So parent portal, is that also for merit badge registration for scouts?
Yeah, so parent portal, if you enable it, allows the parents to sign their own scouts up for merit badges, which I think is the most convenient aspect of it. And then from there, yeah, they can do any of that. They can switch them around up until kind of the start of the summer through the parent portal as well. Any other kind of tech related questions? And I did see a question in the chat. If you have I'm going to post my email in the chat quick. If you have a scout that has a credit issue from last summer, please shoot me an email and I can look into that and try to resolve it with you.
Can we just be very careful about when the parent portal for merit badge sign up opens relative to everything else. So don't open the parent portal to sign up for merit badges before the merit badge class signs up for everybody else.
So, and that's kind of the confusing aspect there. So opening parent portal doesn't necessarily mean that people will be able to register for merit badges. I think part of the issue, there was a kind of weird issue last year where I briefly turned on merit badge registration early to like make an instructional thing about merit badge registration, and people got a notification and immediately went in and started doing it a few days before we could register. So that's kind of there was a weird confusion there. But yeah, so once we open it up for everybody, it'll be for everybody that has paid the $100 deposit. And anyone that has the 100 deposit allocated should be able to do it.
Cheers.
Yep.
Hey, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one comment and one question for you. The first comment is when you're scheduling the merit badges, make sure you get the limits on there correctly, so we don't have that problem we had last year with it didn't have a limit on some of the things.
I think it was like wilderness survival or something. There was one session that ended up with 30 registrants or something, and we had to
And then I know in the past, and I don't know if it's been this way in the recent years, but in the past, the system gets overwhelmed with the number of people that try to go in and sign up. Is there any way to stagger the merit badge signups? So session 1 is on the 30th and session 2 is on the 1st and session 3 is on the 4th. That way we're not fighting with everybody. You know, you're talking about having thousands of kids sign up on the same day. We could bring it back a little bit if we could put them on different days.
So unfortunately, and Leanna and I have had a conversation about this, our system on Blackbug does not have a good way to stagger based on session without making them completely separate events. And making them completely separate events would create like a train of 5 other logistical issues that we don't have to get into. So I don't think that's really an option. Actually and I don't know kind of what it's looked like for you guys in terms of getting any tech issues with it. The biggest issue I've seen with it is more the overload of folks needing assistance with the system and that all going on at the same time. So yeah, I don't know if we have a good solution for the tech side of the issue. The one thing I would suggest is having the parents use Parent Portal to resolve it. I think makes that a little bit better. Because one person isn't trying to handle it for everybody at one time. That makes it up very kind of confusing as well as having tech issues. Any other questions related to that? I don't know if I saw any other hands. Any other kind of general questions about program or everything like that?
All right, I will ask then, the video you're going to put together next week, Matt, would that be parent friendly for them using the parent portal? Will it include bits of that? We can then say, go look at this and this is how you can do it.
So what I'll say on that, and some feedback on this would be good from you guys. So the video will be more intended for leaders because it's going to go into a lot of information that the parents aren't going to need. I know like when I did it last year, I ended up being like a 40-minute video because there's a lot of weird nuances I want you guys to be aware of. I'll of course try to shorten that this year, but I think it might make more sense to maybe do that, send it out to you guys early. And then when we get closer to maybe isolate the portion that is specific to Parent Portal so they can do it.
Yes, that might
so
be
maybe have a short 10-minute thing for Parent Portal and then the other stuff to do with this is how you put all of your scouts information in. This is all the features that you might need to use that can be sent out to the rest of you guys.
If you're willing to do that, I think that a separate one that's more parent friendly than the leaders one would be, helpful.
All right, I will note that. Sorry, go ahead, MB.
I'm not saying there was a comment in the chat about, parents maybe having some tech issues or not being as tech savvy. Understood. So Matt agreed, maybe even a separate video or after you get feedback or just, telling them you can go to this point.
The other option I've talked with some leaders about, especially if you don't have a super large troop, but the parents don't want to use Parent Portal. is if you have a few leaders in your troop that can kind of get together and do it on the day that we open up, you guys can share the admin options, and you guys can like sit down and be like, okay, I'm taking names A through, you know, A through G, you're going to take these ones, and then you go through and kind of do it together. Help subdivide the work without maybe involving all the parents if they're having trouble. Sorry, one moment. I did want to, I saw, Paul, I saw your question come across. I'll come back to that in just a moment, just in case we have another question about this. So we kind of stay focused on the topic. Yeah, Dave?
Yeah, the one point I wanted to call out for, especially for the new leaders, the veteran leaders, you guys all know this already. There is something as you're scheduling merit badges for your scouts, or something if you're going to have your parents do it, it's very vital for them to understand locations of merit badges and time to travel in between. And they're the half session merit badges. There is no time to travel in between. So it's very, very important that you look at where the merit badge is being held, how long it's going to take to travel to the next merit badge, so that the scout isn't trying to run from Copen climbing all the way up to the rifle range and there is no time to get there. So that's just something to point out.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Thank
And
you. Yes.
our map is on the links there under the scouting event. So make sure that you make that available to your parents if they're doing that. Alrighty. So yeah, registration is opening March 30th. The prerequisite guide and the merit badge schedule will be released around February 15th. As the plan for right now. We have some last things we need to check on kind of timing we want for certain classes, and we want to make sure we get all that Trailblazers feedback and related to how we're going to schedule that first. So quick note, because there's another question about kind of how the program schedule and the merit badge schedule looks. So the the merit badge schedule will basically be on one front and back sheet. And that front and back sheet is subdivided. It's basically an Excel document that we print out and make look nice. So it'll have the timing from left to right in terms of time of day. And then top to bottom, it will be organized by area. So it's all one schedule, but it's subdivided by kind of what area the class is taught in. So that'll be kind of what it looks like. Because we got a question about that a few minutes ago. And then the prerequisite guide will have all of the merit badges that have prerequisites, and then we'll list out what they are, and sometimes has some additional information about badges that you should maybe know something about before you show up, but maybe doesn't have a specific requirement. For instance, some of the handicraft classes have some costs associated from the trading post, other items like that that you guys should be aware of beforehand. That will be what the prerequisite guide is for. And I definitely suggest that you make that either available physically or send out to your scouts, before they register. I'm hoping that about a month and a half that you guys will be plenty of time for them to look over and have some thoughts about that. Any other questions? Alrighty. So we're probably gonna head back to the main room, hang out for a minute. If you guys have any other specific questions, I don't think we have anything else going on in the main room. So if you guys are all set and ready to go, you guys can feel free to sign off. Definitely looking forward to seeing you guys all. It's gonna be a really fun summer. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about the team we're putting together for you guys. Keep looking out for emails from us. Some emails may come directly from me. Sometimes we send listserv emails out through the online system, which will come up as something from @Seneca Waterways. It won't look like it's from a specific person. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out to any of us to get any follow-up information. Want to make sure you guys are ready to go and feeling comfortable about everything. And yeah, we'll hang out here for a second too if you guys have any questions. And if there's anything you kind of remembered but wanted to check back up on, we will be posting this video online.
Thank you. Yes, we're very excited for 2022.
Yeah. Sorry, David, did you have another question?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for putting this session together. It's been really helpful. It'll be our first time with my troop going to your camp, and we're looking forward to it. We're in Baden Paddle Council. Anyway, just wondering about the Mountain Fox program. Does that fill up pretty quickly? Is that something that is expandable, or I just want to set expectations for my guys. If that fills up.
So normally we can accommodate multiple groups in Mountain Fox. Usually it doesn't fill up. But we have run multiple groups in the same week, which is no problem. They do different things. So yeah, we should have
I've
no
usually
problem
got pretty good adult coverage, so I'm definitely able to help out in program areas or with Mountain Fox. Some of my adults are pretty avid outdoors people, and they would be pretty interested in participating in Mountain Fox anyway, so or other programs. So looking forward to that. I actually had a second question, if I may, about your swim checks. You allow swim checks. It's all detailed in your program guide or your leader's guide. Is it possible for us to do most of our troop, do them ahead of time, and then have a couple individuals who are doing aquatics merit badges do those checks?
Yeah, that's a very common way for troops to do it. That's how my troop would always do it.
Sure.
And yeah, there should be a form in the same kind of link area on the council page that
Right.
has the kind of paperwork for the pretest. But yeah, that's how most troops end up doing that. Do it, only folks that are taking those merit badges, or maybe somebody that wants to give it another try that didn't get blue in the pre-camp will come down to do it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
The one thing I will tell you, when you do that, make sure you get a copy of whoever's running the test certs, and they need to be a progressive swim instructor, WSI, progressive swim instructor, but you gotta make sure you get a copy of their certs, please.
One thing that I'd suggest, if you have ones that are taking aquatics, even though the pre-test will not count for them, you may want to still have them try it, because they may find that they have some work to do before they get to summer camp. If they can't pass the test in the pool, it's going to be a lot harder to pass the test in the lake. So this way they'll know ahead of time.
Yeah, that's some good advice there. So as of this point, we just got a question in the chat regarding some COVID stuff. Masks in the dining hall and other indoor locations will still be the policy. We did not end up having a vaccine requirement for campers this year or last year. I expect that unless we're mandated to, it'll be the same this year. But definitely encourage everyone to get vaccinated if they can. And it's very helpful for us, if you are vaccinated, to put some record of it in your medical paperwork, so that we have a record of that in case we run into any issues at camp. Does that sound good, Don?
Yep.
All right. All right.
At this point, that's what we know.
Yeah.
Could change, but at this point, that's what we know.
Any other notes, questions?
John, is your hand still up from last, or do you have another?
Didn't put it back down. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I just want to make sure. You got a lot of good thoughts, so I want to make sure you're heard.
Yeah, actually, I do have a question on scheduling classes. Someone suggested about, pay attention to where things are located physically. For second year scout, reasonable walker, what's the transit time that you should expect, kind of maximum transit time across camp?
So yeah, I would definitely take a look at the map there, but I'll talk a little bit about kind of scale. Most of our program areas are within about a 5-minute walk from each other,
Sure.
with the exception of like our shotgun and rifle range, which are closer to a 15-minute walk. And then econ is up a hill a little bit, so that's probably a little bit longer of a walk. The biggest thing to be aware of there, and you'll see it in our merit badge schedule, is that we have kind of 3 hour-and-a-half blocks throughout the day for our merit badges. But some of those blocks, or some of our merit badges, are 45-minute classes. So they're split up in that hour-and-a-half block, and they don't have any passing time. So for those, you're going to want to really encourage them to take classes within the same area, or there's some areas that are like right across the parade field from each other. So that's a reasonable walk to make. So that's going to be the most important thing to make sure they're looking at. Really any of the areas, unless you're going like all the way from the climbing tower at the farthest point of camp to the rifle range, you're going to be able to make that in 15 minutes. If the scouts make sure to kind of book it and not stop at the trading post on the way. Can't guarantee that they won't stop on the trading post on the way. I was definitely known to do that when I was a scout, but
you can tell them, you can let them know they shouldn't be.
Yeah. And we try to make sure scouts are on time, but our staff are generally pretty understanding of, especially younger scouts making long walks.
And those, yeah, especially like the Monday, Tuesday when they're trying to figure it out still. David, what week are you coming up?
We're going to be coming out first week, and I'm expecting. Last year we had about 19 scouts. Our troop's growing, which is great, and I'm hoping to have about the same or a little more this year. So looking forward to it. Looking to try something different, and your camp really ticked all the boxes. Especially, I think that's really attractive, offering the high adventure opportunities for older scouts in addition to the classes and other things, Trailblazers for the younger scouts. It's a nice mix.
Thank you. Thank you. We're glad to have you. I think one will be week one in terms of not quite as full. So also it'll be nice for the scouts to experience it all.
Right. Yeah, I was a camp staffer out west where I was a scout. It was 87 to 88 at Camp Baldwin. We had horses and things, which was a lot of fun.
Don, are you going to get horses?
No.
Just think about the liability paperwork for Don alone, Mary Beth.
No.
I know.
It's like an ATV that can kick you. All right. Anybody else have some last questions before we let you all go?
Oh yeah. I know my troop's going to ask about patrol cooking again, because we have two camps. You know, we have two groups that some want to do patrol cooking and some don't. So is there anything encouraging this year about patrol cooking that it has been worked out from last year?
Having seen a greater look at the patrol cooking from last year, I'm actually working to on a committee to put together a menu ahead of time that's a little more friendly. I know one of the issues was, especially like Sunday night coming in, there were a couple of quick meals. So making sure that meals are appropriate for the time they're at. You know, like I said, I'm going to do it at lunchtime, making sure it's something that can be quicker so the scouts can do it okay and still have a little rest time before their afternoons. But it certainly is nice. I know some troops do like to have that experience of working with the cooking and, you know, just being able to be with their troop a little more. So as we know more about that, we'll certainly be getting out that information.
Okay, and you still have the option of splitting it up. Like,
yes, definitely. Please, when you sign up, let us know, because that's helpful to know. You know, you might have a troop of, you know, say 20, but only 10 of them are going to patrol cook, and you know, you want 10 for the dining hall, because that certainly does change for our numbers. You know, so we can for your scouts, and that will be in the dining hall, and then also the kitchen can know, you know, the supplies that are needed for the patrol cookers.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Of course.
Excellent. And actually, Mr. Farrell, can you remind me what troop you guys are with as well?
We're Troop 5 in Buffalo.
Troop 5 Buffalo. Okay.
And I think we're coming up, I think, the third week.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, you let us split it last couple of years. We usually would at least the whole troop would do lunch in the dining area, the dining hall.
Yes, I do remember that now, because I think I that you had all this. Yeah, okay, definitely.
Yeah,
you guys were over in Horseshoe?
Yeah, yep.
Yep, okay, yep.
Or Yeah, over, we were in Horseshoe and we were in, I think Cranberry as well. Yeah, last year I believe it was Horseshoe. Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha. All righty. Yeah, Mr. Mueller, if you got another question.
Oh, yes, thank you. I just was going to ask about, is Wednesday night also a patrol cooking? Is that eat dinner in your camp sort of thing?
It is not, no. Our staff have off on Saturday when we kick you out of camp till Sunday. We get a 2-hour stretch there. So in terms of dining hall, if you are going that route, you will have meals from arriving Sunday evening, and then breakfast, lunch, dinner all the way to Friday. And then there's an option, and then Saturday breakfast before you leave, and then you have an option to get to-go bag lunches for your drive home. So you will have dining hall meals the whole week.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
And, some notes on dietary restrictions. Anything else for us? Alrighty, again, I think you have pretty much all of our contact info. You can feel free to reach out to us on specific items, kind of depending what it relates to, and will give us the best information that we are able to. Also, please remember, I know Mary Beth posted it up towards the top. If you guys want to take a look, please take a chance to fill out that Trailblazer survey, especially if you've been with our Trailblazers program before. And if you haven't had the chance to, then what might you be looking for in a first-year camper program? So definitely looking forward to hearing all of you guys' input on that. And I think with that, yeah, thanks for coming. Looking forward to seeing you all. And we'll expect to hear from you guys.